So last time we spoke, I was 100% involved in the rental car business. And now I kind of position myself because I have a bigger team to be like the founder of the business. And I focus on getting other businesses the capital so they can expand.
So you become more like a venture capitalist than sticking with just the rentals.
Exactly.
Okay, before we get into your new life, let me ask you I have a couple Turo questions.
Let's get it.
How do you feel the Turo space is now versus when we first spoke a couple years ago?
So what I think now is, and this has actually just happened like a couple of weeks ago, some of the big platforms like Hire Car and another platform called Get Around have gone bankrupt. And even an insurance company that was giving everybody insurance off of Turo has gone bankrupt. So I look at Turo right now as a target for the rental car companies because Turo is getting bigger. It was not really designed to have 50 cars, 100 cars on it. It was literally designed to have your extra car or your car during COVID while you're at home to rent to other people. So now I feel like it's a big target. What's happening now is, Turo is operating a little bit different. So they're starting to favor more so on the renters. A lot of the hosts are getting kicked off or quitting the platform because they were in the old business, right? Mm-hmm. They've seen how it changed. So, I think they're being more methodical on how they're going to do it as a bigger business. And I think that they're positioning themselves to sell the business eventually because all these platforms gone bankrupt because how do you insure a rental car? It's very expensive.
Yeah.
That's how they all go bankrupt.
Okay, so would you advise somebody now to get into the Turo space? If you just have one car?
No.
So if you have a major scale, still a profitable one?
Yeah. If I had one car, I do not think people should get it. Now, if I have one car and I'm like, this car is sitting 100% of the time, or like, I don't know what to do with it, it's a cash car, I would give that car to somebody that has 100 cars or 50 cars and let them rent it out and then just be an investor.
Okay, so that's the best route to go.
That's the best route. If you have one car, that's the best route for sure.
Okay. I know we're beyond Turo. So what made you want to elevate your space and to go into different businesses?
So a couple years ago, I started actually helping people get business funding. I just didn't really talk about it. I was doing everything with Turo. So I think it's important. And one of the things now is it goes hand in hand. Like a lot of my investors come to me and they're like, I want to get a car. So people that want to put a car on our fleet. And I'm like, okay, well, how are you going to get the money? And most of them didn't know how to get the money.
Right.
So I literally just tied that in because I was already helping people in the rental car space. They always need money because they always want cars. So that's kind of the way that it got started. And now I focus on helping, businesses in different industries like trucking, Airbnb, real estate. These are high risk industries that most people will say, I can't help you.
Okay. Now what made you want to get into that space to go into these high risk industries? Okay. Now, what do you say to the person that's just scared to take on this much of a loan or funding from the bank? Because like, hey, I think my business is going to do okay, but I don't think it's going to scale out to where I can get these people this 150 back. I could probably pay 40, 30, but they mind tell them, I'm going to go ahead and take this extra 150. So how do you avoid people getting caught up in that trap?
The safest bet to get any funding is a credit card because when you get the credit cards, you don't get charged until you spend it. A loan, they're going to charge you as soon as that money hits your account, right? They're going to start charging you that monthly. I think everybody should have funding. They should have money at their disposal. So when they need to use it to scale ads and different things like that, they can. A credit card can get you a lot of things, right? Like if you have a high enough limit, you can buy a car on a credit card. Okay. So you can get a lot on the credit card. I like that route. A lot of my clients come to me like, I want a loan. I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do with it? They don't have a plan for it.
Right.
So if you're going to have a loan, which you may need, you need to have a really good plan, right? You need to understand where the money's going to go and how you're going to cover that monthly payment with the money that it's making.
All right, now, with the political change, how does that affect you? How do you feel that would affect you and your business? Do you think with our new president in the office that we're going to go more entrepreneur route or people are going to lean more on their 9-to-5s?
Well, I think it's both. I think there's going to be a big wealth divide and a lot of people are going to be really stuck in the 9-to-5. So I think it's very important to get a business. And if you do get a business, I do believe you'll get favored because like the tax system, all these different things can be changed by which president we have. And this president is somebody that has more of an entrepreneur background than the other president. So I believe that if you're an entrepreneur and you get a business and you do it right, then you'll be favored.
Okay, as a business owner, how does the whole getting rid of the taxes thing affect you?
If you're a business owner and you're doing it right, you're probably not paying that much taxes. So I think it's going to help 9 to 5 people more than it would help me, because I'm already understanding to write things off. I'm already understanding this purchase can do this can do that. And what I will give one tax tip is everybody that's in as an entrepreneur or business owner, even 9 to 5, sit with a tax person in October or November before the year's end. Because at the year's end, you're like, people are so mad. And I'm like, well, why didn't you talk to anybody
Ahead of time.
3 months ago? Because at the last 3 months, that's when you see a lot of businesses spend a lot of money, buy jets at the highest level. But at a low level, it could just be paying, hey, if I know I'm going to pay invoices next year, let me just pay $5,000 for the invoices or $500 for the invoices, and I can use that as a write-off. So,
okay, how does the potential tariffs affect you in the car industry?
So I think transportation in the long run is going to be cheaper. And the reason why I think that is because less people are going to own a car. I don't believe most people should even own a car unless you really need to go back and forth, because we have Uber now. And I think in the long run, we're going to see more people using Ubers and whatever. Elon Musk is working on getting Teslas to drive people around like Uber, but with
No
autonomous.
driver. Yeah, I see them all the time.
Which is going to make everything cheaper.
So how do you feel about that? These autonomy drivers, the autonomy driven cars, being that you are in the rental space.
I think it's good for the economy. I think people are going to pay less money. And then Tesla is working on renting out their Tesla. So you can own a Tesla and then it will just go away for like 5 hours a day, rent, and come back and make you money. So I think that would actually be a cooler thing to see than just a rental car. Rental car industry is very high risk with people behind the wheel. So I think in the long run, it's gonna happen. It's just when.
So do you think people will eventually own a car and not drive it? Like I own my car drives itself, so I don't get charged those insurance? Because you said drivers, the insurance rate are higher for actual drivers. So,
and that's an interesting thing. So I think moving forward, like if someone owns a Tesla and they work from home, or they're at work for 5 hours and the car goes and makes them money and comes back, I think that's a really cool thing. I think that would make people that work 9 to 5s be able to make money while they're at their job. So for rental car companies, it wouldn't be the best.
I'm actually a couple more Tesla related questions, Uber related questions. What do you say to the people that are afraid of the Teslas and the underground tunnels and things like that? I've been watching Paradise and my mind been running places.
I want to go with one of those. I get it. You know, like anything that's new, like we're always nervous about. If you think about like in 2000, wasn't there there is a
Y2K?
They were scared that the
computers
were going to shut down. 2012, I don't know. It was like based off a movie and the calendar thing. So I think it's common. I think it's not if it's going to happen, it's when. So I think as we're baby stepping into it, I don't think people should just jump into it right now, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like the self-driving thing.
This is wild. Especially if you watch the show Paradise, it'll really blow your mind with all this underground. Yeah, watch that then we'll come back and talk about that. Yeah. But another quick question. As a driver, is renting a car from Uber a trap?
So people come to me, they rent a car for anywhere from $250 to $400 a week. So they're paying up to $1,600 on some of these cars. Now, some of these people are making $400-$500 a day on Uber, depending on where you are. So I think for them, it's better because nobody's looking at the long-term cost of their car. They're putting 10,000 miles on my car a month. We're paying for oil changes. So they're paying up front, but they're walking away. They know how much they're going to spend instead of going upside down on their car. And then what are they going to do? They're going to be stuck with 2 payments.
Okay. But as far as the profit, you're not an Uber driver, so it don't really break down to you. But I was just thinking, like, is the profit-wise, is it worth it doing that? But the way you just explained it, I guess it could be.
Well, a lot of them, what I do realize is we have 2 types of renters. We have renters that pay daily, which are kind of weird because I feel like that's even harder than paying weekly. And then we have people that pay weekly. I did do Uber for 1 week, and I rented a car. I rented a car.
To get out in the field.
I rented a car from Hertz. This is like 2000 before I started doing rental cars. And I rented this car from Hertz at $350 to Uber for a week. I'm not gonna lie, I felt defeated because I'm like, man, I owe these people $350 before I even make it in.
Yeah.
So it took me like 3 days, but some of these people are doing Uber and Lyft, and they're doing it in a day. So they're basically making the money a day. That's when it's beneficial. I don't think people should pay daily. I just don't see how that seems too stressful.
Okay. Now, being that so many people come to you for business funding, what are some of the most common businesses that they're coming to you to fund? Like, what's hot right now?
Well, a lot of people have their businesses consulting businesses, and they do like digital products online. We have a lot of rental car companies. We have a lot of Airbnbs. These are like companies that always need money, from the bank specifically. Now, when we get into like the software companies and different things, they are looking to get like money from investors.
Okay. So if I wanted to start a business, what are the top 3 things you would tell me? If I come to you, hey, Mario, I'm trying to start a business from scratch.
So the first thing I would do is I would find somebody that you can look at that already done it, so you can kind of replicate that, right? Because every industry is different. The second thing I would do is figure out how to sell the product before I go get a logo and LLC. So many people like, yo, get an LLC, get a logo, get all this stuff. And I'm like, no, you got to figure out how you're going to make money. Now you can go get a free logo on ChatGPT. The third thing is when I would do as much pre-orders as possible. So like on this stuff, I would do a pre-order. I would get the money and then I would sell.
Okay.
And that's the key thing. Most businesses, they start with.
Kanye kind of did that with a lot of his clothing. That's how he kind of got back popping. Had all these pre-orders. Then, all right, I know that they want the demand. Now I'm going to go print up the actual product.
And you see it in the clothing industry. And what we do as a small business owners and entrepreneurs is we get so excited. So we start buying stuff and we start spending it, and then we can't fulfill it. So that's the way I would start. In any industry, every industry is technically oversaturated. That's the way I would do it.
Do you ever, knowing that this business might fail, still get these people this funding? Because that ain't really got nothing to do with you if the business is successful or not.
I've turned people away that didn't have a good plan, or they're like, I'm going to live on the money. And I'm just like, that's not smart. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I do believe that they have the ultimate decision.
Okay. So, again, what inspired you to get into this, and what is your ultimate goal with the business that you're in now with getting people funding?
So getting people funding, like I looked at my own businesses that I started, right? I'm looking at when I started the rental car industry, I started getting investors at a small scale because eventually I want to have like a financial firm, a venture capitalist where we invest in other businesses and understand where the money is coming from and where the money is going. Because I make a percentage on $100,000 or $1 million deal, and then there's someone doing what I'm doing that's doing it at $25 million or $100 million, and then that's it. So that's my goal, like in the long term, to really focus on like VC and how where's the money moving? Because if you know where the money's moving, then you're never really gonna have a problem if you know how to intercept in between.
Right. So we basically you the next Shark Tank. Yeah. All right, man. Give the people your socials. Any final words you want to give them before we get out of here?
So you guys, if you guys are looking to get funding, you guys could text me at 702-602-6399. DM me text me the word funding. And if you guys want to see me on Instagram, you can follow me at Elevate Your Rentals.
All right. Once again, I thank you for having me. Thank you for being part of this fly conversation. And we'll do this again. You have a good one, man. Appreciate you.